I don't know. Muenster's a fairly popular cheese, I think. I'm kind of curious to see how you're going to match some things up today. But if you're not familiar with Muenster, I just happen to have a piece here, and we've been making Muenster, like I said, since the '80s, and it's got that red rind appearance on the outside, which is the characteristic of Muenster, and it's fresh Muenster is a little bit firmer, but as it keeps going throughout its life, it's got a nice mellow flavor. It's definitely a semi-soft, very pleasing to the palate. It's a fantastic table cheese. It can be used and sliced. It's got great meltability because of the fat content and the pH. So it's a great alternative to some other cheeses on a burger, or even it can be used as a replacement for mozzarella. I know there's definitely some options on how to use this great product.
So thinking about it, you have so much butter in here and that little bit of tanginess to it. So what I was thinking was I wanted to sweeten it up a little bit because it works really well with that. And I'm using an Effie's, and this is an almond flavored biscuit. And I really like that because it adds a nuttiness to it. And this can really use, it works well with that. And then I have a Bonnie's Jam, blueberries and blackberries that I thought would go really well with it.
Oh, that sounds actually really good. I haven't tried that. So
it has that tanginess, and that butter just really kind of works really well with the almonds, the almond flavor, and also with the berries. It just has a really nice blend of flavors. And I'd pair it up with this Sierra Nevada. This is a wild little thing, and it's a sour. Don't get scared. It's a light sour. It's a very it has a very sweet fruit to it, not as sour as you typically get. I thought that would be a really nice combination with the buttery flavors and the richness that you get here.
One of the things with these semi-soft cheeses as we go through them, we work really hard to, when you have a fresh cheese, it has a certain flavor profile to it, and a lot of what we're talking about. And then even as the semi-soft cheese starts to age a little bit, that flavor profile is going to change, and it doesn't go bad. I think it just enhances it and makes it come out. That buttery flavor is really going to start bursting out. The slight sweetness might go away a little bit, but then you're just going to get a little bit more advanced flavors. But one of the things I wanted to highlight is we work really hard in how we make this cheese to try and keep the body of the semi-soft cheese and make it last a little bit longer, so it's still easy to work with, whether you're slicing it or making little pieces for a cheese tray. So as this ages, I think one of the great characteristics is it's going to hold its body a little bit longer than maybe some of the other Muensters that are out there. So I just wanted to highlight that fact.
The next cheese that we have is your Gouda.
Sure.
Or Gouda.
Gouda. Or if you're good at pronunciation, which I'm not, from across the ocean, I think they say, is it a Gouda? That's how they would say it from over there. It's got, again, it's got that buttery flavor to it, and some of that distinctive color, that marks it as a Gouda. There again should be a slight sweetness, mild and soft, kind of a creamy texture to it as you enjoy it.
Like the butteriness, it has just a little hint of sweetness, like a little, maybe a hint of maple, caramel, something like that.
Sure, and that's all in the culture selection. We're trying to find something that's pleasing. There's a variety of cultures out there to create whatever flavor profile you want, and I know that we've worked pretty hard to try and end up on this. That's, again, just has a nice balance. That's really what you want when you're making a cheese, is, again, between the slight sweet and the buttery. a nice balance, but then also a nice balance that stays and stays as the cheese again matures slightly. So yeah.
Yeah, it has really nice buttery flavor and nice richness. So what I thought with this, because it has a little bit of that sweetness to it, was to go with a pear. And Girl Meets Dirt out of Pacific Northwest does a heritage pear with pink peppercorns. Even it's not spicy. It's just adds a little bit of kind of like richness to it. So this is a heritage. And then I put it on an Effie's pecan. So it kind of has like a pear, almost like a pear pie, because the Effie's actually gives it kind of like a crust, like a cheesecake crust.
Okay. I think that's a great, it sounds like a great combination. Again, they should, excuse me, complement each other very well. Again, with that buttery flavor and that creaminess going with that pear, I think that sounds like an excellent pairing.
Yeah, that's really delicious. The Gouda is strong enough to stay with it. It's not overpowered by the spread. It's not overpowered by the cracker, the biscuit. It kind of works in. That's really nice because, you know, when you are doing pairing, you don't want to lose the cheese. I mean, the whole point of this is the cheese, and it's beautiful on its own. But you know, if you're going to add something in, this is a really nice combination. As for pairing, I'd probably go with this. This is a Gaelic ale, and it's kind of like a malty pale. So it's got a nice maltiness to it, and it really kind of picks that up. And I guess kind of like adding a little molasses to the mix, and gives it a little bit more richness. So it'd be a nice both dessert and also like something right after lunch would be perfect. You know, you want something a little sweet, but you don't want something that's going to be overly rich and taking away from you know, your light lunch if you were doing that. So our next cheese would be the dill.
You know, it's to talk about, you know, Dill Havarti, at least in our packaging here. This is a great product. I think we do a really good job. We've been fortunate to win some awards with it, and it all starts with a Havarti base. So, you know, a Havarti cheese, obviously pasteurized milk, but then you're also adding cream to it because, again, you want to try and enhance that creaminess and that flavor, and that it gives that starter culture something to work on and produce that flavor profile you're looking for in it. But then you add some dill oil and some dill weed to it, and you know, it can be tricky at times. You know, whenever we grade dill, it's always funny. There's, you know, we grade it from time to time, and there's a group of us standing around, and we get to the dill, and we have to try some dill, and then we have to try another piece because dill has its own powerful flavor, and so you have to get past that first, you know, that first dill wave, and then once you get to the next piece, now you can start appreciate the cheese flavor and the dill with the oil and everything. So it's always kind of an interesting one when we grade it.
Well, I think in the most difficult part about you know, blending this is getting a nice balance between the dill and the Havarti. And dill, like you said, it's a really strong weed. I mean, it really brings out a lot of flavor. So it would be very easy to have this taste just dill without the cheese, but you can really taste the Havarti in here, and it's got a nice butter. There's a nice tang. The tang, though, you know, when you a lot of times when you're talking about Havarti, there is a kind of like a sour cream tang. This
Sure.
one's a little stronger, you know,
Okay.
and I think it's because of the dill, but you need that to be able to stand up to that dill, and that's really great balance.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, this is it's a wonderful product, but it's at times it's a challenge to make to get. Again, you want cheese with some dill, not dill with a little bit of cheese in it. So
Yeah, I can understand, and you definitely have the good balance, a really good balance. And so, dill is sometimes hard to pair up with things. I mean, in recipes, it's great because you could put this on the side. I mean, there's so many things that you could add to dill. I mean, chicken and dill and salmon and fish and a lot of other things. So I went with a 34-degree rosemary crisp, and it is just rosemary and dill together with the buttery and the cheese and a little bit of tanginess. You don't need anything else. This is just a nice balance of flavors.
Yeah, it does, like you mentioned earlier, it stands on its own. If you're looking for just something nice to eat with some good flavor to it. Again, we're pretty proud of it. I think it's a good product. Again, once you get over the initial dill hurdle, and you go down that path. So
I would, because you have so much flavor and all that, you need something that can kind of cut into it. I would go with the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It is the standard for pale ales, and it would give you a lot of ability to be able to have that cleansiness, but also, with the hoppiness, and rosemary and dill and hops blend beautifully together. So I'd probably go that direction. I have to ask, what would you pair or talk about the tzatziki, because it is formidable.
Maybe robust. Maybe that's a good way to say it, I think. But this tzatziki dip, again, with this yogurt base we've got, just to describe it for everyone, if you haven't used it, it's a yogurt base, and we throw in fresh cucumbers. It's a nice thick texture, a good creamy texture. You've got that tanginess of the Greek yogurt in there, mixed in with the fresh cucumbers and the garlic and the dill. It's obviously a vegetable dip. It's a chip dip, but it does have a ton of flavor. So, use sparingly where needed, but it's going to give you what you're looking for in that flavor.
Everything is there. I mean, when you talk about the cucumbers being there, it is real cucumber. I mean, it is clean. It's as if I have a cucumber and I'm biting into the cucumber with it on it. There isn't oh yeah, it's similar to cucumber. It is like chunky cucumber. You can just taste that. And it's very refreshing. I mean, it just, in this with some fresh vegetables and that, it would be just fabulous. I thought, I'm under the impression that this is healthier. I mean, not that cheese isn't. I'm just saying that, somebody that's going to go with this, they're thinking that I want something light. I don't want something really heavy. So I went with the 34-degree gluten-free. A little bit lighter, and stay right in that safe zone. And that's all you need. You don't want the cracker or anything to get in the middle of this. It's just so nice just to have that balance of flavor. I have to say that I don't have a lot of experience with it, but you sent me 3. And so I opened up last week one of them, and I was just kind of adding it in. And we have basically found uses for it throughout almost all of our, cauliflower rice, it's the savior.
Sure.
And so it's a perfect addition to that, because it's supposed to be light, it's supposed to be fresh, and adding that in. And so I have to say that it's just such a nice change and a nice freshness. I don't really think that I would pair it up with a beverage other than just what you happen to be drinking at the time is just what you're drinking at the time.
I would agree with that. It's I was thinking of instead of using, it's simple, but a hamburger, instead of putting your mayonnaise on there, spread some of this on there. That's going to give you a nice, good pairing with not a pairing, but I mean a nice flavor profile across that hamburger, and just kind of change it up for you a little bit. So I think that would be great. Baked potato sounds good. I mean, it's nice and simple stuff, just to complement with some good flavor.
It is with tomatoes and all that just blends so well. We had, what was it, lamb meatballs. I think there's a name for that, but that's basically the way it was. And then, this is the go-to, as part of that. It just really, because that lamb is just so rich that you really need something that can cut into it. And I have to say that, there's a lot of refreshment of this. It's refreshing to add in. It's not overpowering. It actually brings a clean flavor and that freshness of the cucumbers. That's just so nice. So summery, getting ready for summer and summer meals. That's the best thing.
Sure. No, that's great. I know they worked really hard to find the right cucumbers, but that crunch is really something that you try and you're like, crunch. You're right. There's a cucumber in there. It's a real cucumber. So, yeah, no, this is great. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you were saying is that it's not like a squishy. It's a crunch. It's definitely crunchy. It's definitely there. You can really taste that, and it makes a big difference in the flavor. I live in Tampa, and so we have Tarpon Springs, which is it's a huge Greek community, and there's, a plethora of Greek restaurants. So this, what they serve, honestly, even though that I know that they're Greek, the quality here is so much more fresher. I don't know, whatever they're not putting in the cucumbers in that, not making it as fresh as this. So
sure. Well, I appreciate the compliment. That's really nice. So yeah, I think it'd be great on a traditional gyro, right? Go get your gyro and make it at home and spread it on there. So
yeah, very nice. Yeah. All right. So that takes us through the tasting. That was really nice. Do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up here?
No, other than no, I appreciate it. This was great for us. Give me a chance to kind of talk about our family here and our business, and the chance to meet you and see what people can do with the products we make and how to enjoy them a little bit better. So appreciate the opportunity to talk to everyone, and this has been a great experience for me.
Good. Well, Matt, it was a pleasure meeting you and spending the time here. Love your products, and really enjoy the quality, and thank you so much for sending them out. And we're going to definitely be enjoying them this evening. So thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
All right. Well, this program will be on my YouTube channel. And of course you can get the cheeses for yourself and taste along with us if you want to. It'll be listed out probably in the next couple of days. So again, thank you, Matt, for stepping in, and I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll talk soon.
All right, take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.